WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Everything earned for a goal of elevation. Just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle Eyed Football. Welcome back to another match reaction. Match reaction for this one today is Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 1, Fulham 2, Fulham 2. Chairman, we were there yesterday. How are you doing apart from the game?
Well, I mean, as it's in the cold light of day, a 2-0 defeat was actually better. It could have been 4 or 5 comfortably, wouldn't it? Probably the first time I've seen Palace this year and walked away thinking we thoroughly deserve to lose that. We put nothing into it. And of course, compound that with the fact that Ipswich beat Tottenham away today, a place that we can't even get a point from. Yeah, not good, is it really?
Yeah, not really. I don't think there's a lot of stuff to talk about for how you actually come back from it. But Mitch here says, do we have to talk about it? To be fair, no one wants to talk about this. But yeah, we have to. Let's give our own little 2 cents on this. So I think the first thing we have to start on is Maxence Lacroix, I think, because other than his one mistake, and granted it was a huge mistake, I think he was brilliant. Like, looking back on the game, like all them, I think he made 2 or 3 last-minute tackles, like incredible challenges, like moved up the pitch really well, great long passes. But I think that it was one of them very rare situations where, I don't know, I think he had too much time, would you say, Chairman?
Yeah, I mean, we watched it. We were sitting behind on the Homestead, weren't we? And he was looking for an outball, wasn't he? And I suppose looking back on it, a couple of times before that, he did give the outball to Chalobah, who was quite well marked at the time, who just booted it down the field. And maybe they picked up on that fact and they just cut the Chalobah ball out. And then that made him thinking about what we're going to do now. And, if you're in that situation, you either pass back to the keeper or you just send it downfield, isn't it? But he did it for so long that they actually managed to snatch it off of him, which is a shame, really, because for last month, comfortably, he's been our best player, isn't he?
Oh, without that, he deservedly earned our Player of the Month, and it's just I think it's just unfortunate of what actually happened with him, because other than that mistake, he had a great game, but yesterday we didn't deserve anything from that game. Fulham were by far the better team, all over the pitch. They defended well, they went forward well. Granted, yes, just like we said in tactical, they don't press. They didn't press very much. But what they do is they like to cut out passing lanes, and that's exactly what they did. Like, we could hardly pass through them. I couldn't tell you how many times that we were playing out from the back. Chalobah tried to put the ball into the middle, and they'd intercept it, or Chalobah would just kick it out of play.
Yeah, definitely. I think they played on the fact that our midfield was weak, wasn't it? We had a kid making his debut and a centre half playing midfield, and actually played on that fact, and they swamped it. I suppose in hindsight, maybe Glasner should have changed the formation slightly and gone forward at the back and put an extra man in midfield just to give him a bit of protection. But we didn't do that. They bossed midfield from start to finish, didn't they? Really, we didn't have a clue what we was doing.
Yeah, I think, to be fair to Devaney, I don't think he did too badly. I think that, bearing in mind, he was in a midfield where he didn't actually have much help, if any, because we saw Mark is a great centre back.
He is,
incredible
definitely.
centre back, and you could see that when he was in the midfield. because he had no idea what to do when pressing. He was always out of position, but if it was ever a 1v1, he would always win it.
Yeah.
But the fact is that he was always in the wrong position to even get into this 1v1 situation. So him in the middle, I could see why he did it, but it was just a bit of a pointless exercise, I think, because you had two guys, one making a debut, one not really knowing what he's doing. Basically means we've already had a two-man midfield, which is already one less than Fulham. And especially when you've got two guys who don't really play that position or one guy that's brand new to the Premier League, it's not going to end well for a game like this, especially when they've got Sanderberg, Premier League proven, Iwobi, Premier League proven, Pereira, Premier League proven, Smith Rowe, Nelson. Like, you have all these players on the pitch that have all done it for the Premier League for a few years now, and it's just a bit unfortunate that he's put into a pretty rubbish situation.
I think absolutely bang on. You did make a good point, which I'll bring up in a minute. But I think you're absolutely right. I think we lost it in our midfield. I'm not blaming Devaney, and I'm not blaming Mark at all. I would first of all say I thought Devaney had a very promising debut. It was a bit of a rough game for him to be in, but probably I'm sure he's got the attributes to be a good midfielder. He probably needs somebody like Hughes or Decore to, just to keep reminding him where he should be standing and where he should be pushing. But you actually made a really good point a second ago about Alex Iwobi, who was just breaking through the midfield and running, and no one was going with him. And he had that first half, he had so much space all the time, and he was making himself available and literally just breaking through the midfield. And that's when, like Mark, he doesn't know when to stick or twist, is he? Should he push up? Should he drop in with him? He did, and it's not his fault. He's not playing that position. That's where I feel that maybe we should have tactically adjusted it to put an extra midfielder there, just to give him a bit of help, really.
Yeah, well, we tried by making a pretty strange change, wouldn't you say?
Well, half time.
Yeah, so when we actually came out in the second half, we changed everything completely. So, actually, no. Before we even talk about that, what the hell is Glasner thinking of doing by playing Klein at left centre back? He was good at right centre back last season, and that's where I thought he'd be playing, because he's got a right foot and he's got pace and he can push up on that right hand side and help Munoz, which is exactly what we did to actually succeed last season. Whereas today, we'll just throw all of that away, and play him on the left. And then I was trying to sit there and rationalise it, because Richards is better on the left. We all know that. Yeah, my internet just, I think me and Chairman's internet just died.
Hey, yeah, I saw you were frozen. I was just trying to sort my lighting and stuff. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, so that's a good start. Apologies for being late, guys. I was just sorting out the girls. Then they said they were hungry, so I made myself some food.
Basically, what we were doing was we'll talk about how, I guess, silly it is to be playing Klein at left centre back and not right centre back.
Yeah, sorry, it all got frozen. Yeah.
Well, that was for both me and you.
Was it really? I mean, to be fair, just making a point of what you're saying, Jason, was that, do you remember we was in the pub before the game? And I think you said the most sensible thing to do would be to put Klein in at right centre back and play Chalobah in midfield, who's done it before. And I thought, so that's probably a very sensible thing to do, but we didn't do it, did we?
No. To be fair, I think that what he actually did was the most unexpected thing possible, and probably seeing obviously how the game panned out, probably the worst thing he could have done as well, because Mark is probably the backbone of that back three. Like moving him out of position is like a bit of a cardinal sin, really, especially when Chalobah's actually played midfield for Chelsea quite a few times, whereas Mark's done it once. Granted, we beat Villa 5-0, but you know, he was never like incredible in that position.
Yeah, it's an odd one, especially with Kleiny, because he's so right-footed, you know. So it's not. To be fair to him, he did clip one over the top to Mateta earlier, and I think Mateta should have done better. But every time he wanted to look inside, and I think there was once he even tried to pass it to Lacroix, it got intercepted, and that's when Lacroix made that crunching challenge on Smith Rowe. You know, we just was so unbalanced because of that, and add the fact that obviously Kamara and Sarr were playing. Like Sarr's been playing well on the right hand side.
Why would you play him on the left?
Like, why would you switch it up? You know, and I guess maybe it's obviously to nullify Anderson, which I think overall, I think we did a decent job of it because he wasn't really afforded the time to make those long-ranging passes and stuff. But this shows how clever Anderson is a player. He instead of all he did was just pop it into Jimenez instead, like just like quick first-time passes, you know, up front. So yeah, yeah. I don't know what to say. I think we're in the bottom three now as well, which makes matters worse. So great times, guys. Great times.
What happened?
There was something that you were gonna touch on, but you said that you had to wait. It was something to do with the second half.
Yeah, so in the second half, so obviously Klein was at left centre back, wrong position. Sarr was at the left 10, wrong position, because, you know, against Wolves, against Villa, he was missing chance after chance when he cut in off that left hand side of his right foot. So why would you put him back there again? Kamada played on the right sided 10. I don't know whether that was the right or the wrong thing to do, but you know, we'll talk about Kamada a little bit more later.
That's a show on its own.
But all of those people were in the wrong position, basically. And then in the second half, we completely changed it up. Our back five went back to normal again, kind of. So you had Mitchell, Gay, Lacroix, Chalobah, Klein on the right. And then we had Munoz as the right-sided 10, with Kamada dropping back into the middle with Devaney, which was, you know, that's a whole nother show on its own because that was terrible as well. With Sarr on that left side, and to be fair to Daniel Munoz, yeah, I think he's probably our best forward for the first 10 minutes until Decore actually came on, because he was actually getting down the line, putting crosses in, and he had a shot. He should have scored. I say that he definitely should have scored. If he just lifted it over Leno, easy goal. I think he had 2 or 3 chances actually. He had another time where he shot with his left foot, tried to go near post, but you know, he didn't actually put enough power behind it. But still, a right back is our most productive attacker in the team. That has a lot to say. It sort of worked, and then I think Klein went off. Decore came on, Devaney and Decore in the middle, which seemed to make it a lot more solid. Just the fact Decore being on there, knowing where to stand, sort of helped Devaney sort of understand where he had to be as well. But the front two were still the same, and that should have been changed way earlier. And then really we just kept losing the ball. Players getting frustrated. We had a good passage of play. I think we had like a really good 5 minutes where we were just getting back into the game. And then Mateta with a really, really bad pass.
Such a hospital pass, wasn't it?
A really bad pass back to Kamada. And, you know, Kamada frustrated. Yeah, frustrated in sort, I don't know whether to say in a bad frame of mind. low on confidence as well. Goes in for a challenge which he should have never have gone in for. Also, before we even talk about this, the club had to put out a statement because fans
I
were
didn't mention that.
racially abusing him.
That's
If you've done that,
disgusting.
you are scum, by the way, because yes, you can cuss him if he's done something bad at football, but don't make it racial. That's wrong. Like, you can obviously criticize his performance on the pitch, but saying stuff like that, yeah, you deserve to be banned for life. You don't deserve to support this club. Let's be real. But that, are you good, bro? You eating?
To be fair, JC, I know the pass from Mateta to Kamada's back, but he didn't have to go in studs up, did he?
That's what I'm saying. He didn't have to make the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, but he could have made the challenge. That's not a problem. But why go in studs up? It's ludicrous. You know what's going to happen. There's bloody 50 cameras in the ground. If the referee don't pick it, VAR would have done. So it's just, I know he maybe was frustrated, but he just made it even worse for us, didn't he? He made a bad game worse, and that was the problem. And now he's suspended for 3 games, knowing full well we haven't got any other midfielders, have we? All right, Hughes comes back next week, thank goodness. Oh, week after next, thank goodness. But it's stupid.
So just quickly on the club statement, I'm glad it's been called out publicly as well. You know, and you know what? I won't be surprised if there's more than one person. I won't be surprised if we're looking around 20, 30 different instances, you know, because unfortunately that's the toxic nature of the game sometimes. But I think the biggest disappointment is that us as Palace fans, we pride ourselves of our inclusivity. You know, we really put a lot into that, and yeah, just find them, ban them for life.
Absolutely.
That's simple. You know, just on the Kamada challenge, I don't mind him going in.
I think
to pressure the
we
ball.
got sent off at that time as well, because that was when we started to play really well, and then it happened.
It was just a stupid challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a stupid challenge. But for you, Day, just quickly, we're just having a discussion because Kamada was subjected to racial abuse in the ground, and the club have made a statement about it, which is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, can't wait. You know what? Find them, put
Name
their
and shame.
faces up. Yeah, like actually tweet them, tweet their faces. Do like proper make a public announcement about
And if
them.
that's the case, we'll do a stream and just have their faces on stream. Go, you are a pagan. You are a pagan.
Absolutely.
So can I just make a quick point? I just want to
Sure.
reply to Animal's message. You said that he has every right to go for that challenge. I'm not saying that about Kamada. He absolutely should go for that challenge. But what I'm saying is, if the ball's on the floor and you're going with your foot up, studs above the top of the ball into his shin, it's only going to end up in one way. If he'd have got in on the floor 50-50, no problems with that at all. That's what it's all about, isn't it? But as soon as you lift your studs up and go over the top of the ball, you're only asking for trouble, and that's exactly what he got.
100%. And then, moving on from that, you know, then at that point you're 1-0 down, and Oliver Glasner says, "Jeffrey Schlupp will solve this problem."
Oh yes, the buffet had run out by that point.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're just sitting around now.
Yeah, Jeffrey Schlupp will solve this problem, but really and truly, in that situation, is Schlupp going to get you a goal? He did last season, to be fair to him, with an absolute screamer, but he does that once a year, once every 2 years, once every 3 years.
Had Michael Olise Eze played in that game. We also had 11 men.
And we had to add a war.
Difference.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. But at that point in the game, what would Agbenone have done worse than Schlupp from there to the end of the game? I don't actually think Schlupp touched the ball very much. I think when Agbenone actually came on, when he only had 6 minutes to play, I'm sure he had more touches than Schlupp in those 6 minutes. And I don't even think I'm exaggerating with that one. I don't think Agbenone could do anything worse than what Schlupp could have done. Schlupp didn't do anything. At least Agbenone did a step over and actually got into a good position once. Granted, his inexperience told him to cut back and try and shoot, but obviously there's going to be a player there in the Premier League. But still, he's getting into good situations. He's showing energy. Schlupp looked like, I'm not going to swear, but Schlupp looked finished. He when he jogged onto the pitch, he looked like he was done already, and he just went onto the pitch. So really and truly, I don't know why Schlupp is even at the club. Why is he even playing Premier League football? I think from now on, you just have to play him instead of Schlupp. When there's a substitution to be made, a forward-thinking sub, you just have to put him on. He did it in pre-season against Premier League teams. Granted, it is pre-season, but it's still Premier League opposition. The teams that we were playing in that competition, guess what? That's the same starting 11 those teams are playing in the Premier League now, and he scored against them. So, yeah. And also, I think Kore did okay as well, didn't he? He didn't. Yeah, it wasn't on for very long, but he took on his man and did a bloody Travella cross.
1-2s, yeah. It raises the question, obviously, that, and I know we're 2 weeks away until the Villa game, but I think our only 10s, I put in quotation marks because, we got wingers playing as 10s and stuff. Sarr is the only one that would be fit.
Oh, what, for forwards?
Yeah. As in, like, the 10s, because Mateta plays up front, innit?
Yeah, so
I don't think Ebbs will be ready.
Ebbs is gone.
And Nketiah won't be ready.
Nketiah is gone.
Kamada's suspended.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I reckon Glasner might actually swap the formation slightly and go 5-3-2.
So it probably means
play
that
Sarr and Mateta up front.
Or he's going to persist with Daniel Munoz.
He's been very stubborn with his formation. I can't see him doing it personally.
Yeah,
I think maybe that when we've got 2 weeks break, and I think maybe he'll start with Decore and Hughes, and just see how far. And then get the problem with is normally you'll sub both of them on the hour mark, innit, for nobody, and just see how far you can get out of them.
Well, I know that Lerma is projected to be back after international break. I don't know whether that's the first game back or a few games back, but he's close to coming back as well. So our injury crisis goes up to 3 midfielders after the first game back, after the Villa game.
It sounds mad. It's actually a game we actually need to get something out of.
I don't know. I think it's the game after. It's the Ipswich game is Ipswich away is now become monumental now, isn't it?
Oh, it's 2 away games. Sorry, yeah, it's Newcastle at home.
No, yeah. It's Villa away, Newcastle home, Ipswich away.
Oh, Ipswich away. Okay.
I did have player ratings ready to go, but when we drop the link in the chat, then we'll go through that with most likely Tim when he joins.
No, you should have said it. He might not join now.
Yeah, that's true. But obviously, it's a very disappointing game. And yes, Glasner is very, very stubborn with his formation, with the substitutions he's making, because they're very strange and they're not what everyone would be doing or in fans' eyes should be doing. But at the end of the day, I think that the board has failed him in the summer. We've pocketed £80 million off 2 players. And where have we spent it?
I think we spent about 65, 70, haven't we? But you're right. I mean, but that means that all we've done is we've spent some of the money we've sold. We've not actually used this year's transfer budget at all, have we? I mean, the shame of it is that the kid that we loaned out to Derby would be getting regular game time now, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ozo.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Ozo would get regular game time. Bloody Ratsaki would get a lot of game time. If only França was fit, he'd be getting loads of game time.
It's a shame. Actually, I mean, I don't know if you heard it. I don't know if you heard it on Talk Sport today. They had some guy called Mike ring, a Palace fan, and they were talking Talk Sport, and obviously, basically, they said about Kamada. Is he the worst free transfer ever because he can't pass? But Jason Cundy got into a very interesting point about, and he started listing all our injuries, and all our injuries are soft tissue injuries. And he was questioning what are we doing? You know, he said the training's fine. It's nothing to do with the medical team because you only see the medical team after you've had the injury. You don't see them beforehand. So he was asking a question that A, are we training too hard? B, are we warming up enough before the games? And C, are we stretching enough? Because they're not like muscle injuries. They're sort of like flesh injuries, aren't they? So something is gone, and it's not just for Glasner. You go back to Patrick Vieira and Roy Hodgson, same injuries all the time, isn't it? So something's going on, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought we got rid of Dr. Death.
Well, exactly. But nothing's changed, is it?
No.
Well, to be fair, we've sent him to Arsenal, and Arsenal have got a few injuries as well now, so I guess he's sharing it around.
Dr. Death.
It's you know what I think it is for me? And Tom Clark made this point in one of the comments for the fan cams. And I hate to obviously mention this team and how well they're doing. But a Brighton team who went a goal down against the current champions showed fight.
And with a manager which has won nothing as well, with a whole new play style, and putting some faith, sticking with him, and actually backing him in the transfer window. If you guys haven't noticed,
yeah, you got Bournemouth who were struggling towards the back end of last season. They've gone on back-to-back home games, beating last year's top two, showing fight. Like, you can have injuries, you can have suspensions, you can have all of that, but you can still win games with fight. And we had none of it. We've had none of it. We've been crap.
I think you bang on there, Rich. If you we don't like losing, but losing is part of the game, isn't it? But if you walk out of a game saying, well, bloody hell, we fought hard, we gave them a good go, but in the end, you say, fair enough, they're a good team. But when you just give up so meekly like we did yesterday, even Glasner said it's the first time this season we deserve to lose. And I think he's about right there, isn't it? Because literally, if we'd have walked out of there losing 4-5-0,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Couldn't have complained, could we? Couldn't have complained.
Well, yeah, like and also, as Sod's law, we used up all of our VAR luck as well. It should have been 4-0, but VAR ruled out 2 goals for us in our favour. And that means we're never getting a VAR decision again this season. So there you go. When we actually need it, we're never going to have it. So brilliant.
Don't forget, Henderson made 2 cracking saves in the first half as well, wasn't he?
Yes, he did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one was Odegaard was clean through, and that sort of cross shot when he flicked it over the bar, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Also, I saw the first goal back. I think even though Henderson got a hand to it, I think Smith Rowe just hit it with too much power to actually stop it, really, which is unfortunate.
We knew, didn't we? We said it at the time. We knew that once we conceded, we just couldn't see ourselves back into it, and our best shot was getting to half time 0-0 and hoping for the best.
Mm-hmm.
But
and
it was a timing, wasn't it?
And also, this game we didn't press at all.
No,
like we've gone from 3 games in a week where we were doing incredible pressing in every single one of those games, and then we come back to this game and it's all gone out the window almost instantly.
Do you think we went away from that because we've been picking up injuries?
Good point. Very good point.
I mean, I've never thought about it that way, but maybe it's a thing of Glasgow saying, "Oh, maybe only press like that when you on certain press triggers, maybe instead of every single press trigger."
Then the key to that then is, if we feel that the press is not working, then you go to a low block. You don't try and do both because that creates a hole in the midfield.
And we had no midfield anyway.
Yeah, I think if we had played the low block, because Fulham, granted, it was ticky-tacky stuff. Like, they weren't really penetrating unless we gave them the opportunity to, and
To be fair, I think their off-the-ball movement would have broken us down anyway.
They were very good, weren't they? Very good.
I think Iwobi
They did,
specifically,
actually,
he broke us down without even trying.
I told you about that. Just watch it. Like, he reminds me of Alexander Hleb. He is an ex-Arsenal player. A player that, with the ball's always moving. So even if he gets a pass is coming towards him, his first touch, sometimes you could have a first touch to stop the ball dead, and his first touch has to be on the move. Like, he was everywhere, and the switching around of like Iwobi, Smith Rowe, like they all just kept dropping in, and Jimenez, I did rewatch a bit of it, and I was watching this hold up play. I was like, oh my gosh, I can understand why everything just works, because he's the glue to everything they do. He was brilliant. He was really good yesterday. So
yeah, if only Eze could play like Iwobi, then and that's a crazy statement. Then Eze would be brilliant.
and he's got it. He's got it in him. He just needs to not necessarily need a third. Yeah, he doesn't necessarily just condone it with a friend. I'm sure he could do it by himself. But let's drop the link. Let's hear from others if they want to say anything.
So yeah, the link is in the chat now. Obviously it's about the game, but if you guys have a look into the comments, we have put a poll in there, and the poll reads: out of the rumored ownership options, which option would you prefer the most? Keep the ownership as it is with the 4 of them. Texter sell all of his shares to Harris and Blitzer. Texer buys the whole club, or this presumed Saudi takeover that was apparently rejected. But if that would come back, let's say, would you accept that? Tim, how's it going? We're not going to do the player ratings, don't worry. But what would you rate Glasner? Because we gave him a 3, I think.
Yeah, you gave him a 3. I would have given him a 4. I think 5's too much. The only reason I'd go 1 point higher is because he is doing what I want him to do by playing youth. I think it's about time. I think we need to do it. It's the right thing to do. I would like to start seeing these. And look, you're not going to do this. Was an emergency start for Devaney. I'm not saying that's, we shouldn't see Devaney for 75, 90 minutes, upcoming here, but we do need to get these players blooded in. It's important. And, we had a manager previously who even in emergency situations wasn't doing it. Vieira was doing it, and it just didn't work. So yeah, I want to see more of that. I'm glad he's doing it. I thought it was a brave decision to start Devaney. I thought it was right. Thought he was okay. I don't disagree with anything you said about that, but I generally still like Glasner, but it isn't working. And everything you said about, I can't wrap my mind around Nathaniel Klein at left center back. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand it. I don't understand Ismail Yassar on the left side at 10 either, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. So it was strange. But I will say it's very easy to pile on Kamada, and I feel so bad for that guy. He looks like he's trying so hard because he wants to succeed so badly, and it just isn't working. So he either needs to be gone or he needs an extended break. The situation is not working.
He's got one now.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. But yeah, it's I feel for the guy. He's clearly trying. and it is clearly not working at all. And I also think he got unfairly thrust into a situation where we bought him because we thought we were going to lose Ebbs. I think we bought him to play the left side at 10 because we thought we were going to lose Ebbs, and then we didn't. And now it's like, well, now what do we do? So, yeah, there's a lot of places we could go with this. I have a question for you guys about what we do here heading into January, but do you want to talk about this poll you just put up there, JC?
Yeah, we could do that, and then we go into your talk about January. What would be the option you would choose out of the 4?
I don't love it, but of the 4, I would choose Harrison Blitzer because one thing I do, and just because I know them as American owners, and another Palace fan who comes on from time to time, Patrick, who is in Philadelphia, will tell you that they've been terrible owners of the Philadelphia 76ers. And he's not wrong about that. But Harris and Blitzer have made some serious investment in the Washington Commanders NFL team here, and they are killing it right now. So they're enterprising owners. They know the club, they know Parrish, they have money to put into the club, but they have no reason to put more money into the club right now. If they become the majority owners and they give Parrish a role, I think that would be interesting. That's certainly more interesting to me than a consortium that I really don't know anything about. And then the guy from DoorDash, who's a Man United fan. I don't want a Man United fan running Crystal Palace. No thanks. What I like about our club is we have fans who are in positions running the club. So I don't know. I don't think any of those options are ideal. Now, there is a story that maybe you guys can help me if I have this right. There's one of the consortiums apparently has a couple of Palace fans in the consortium. I guess I need to hear more about who these people actually are. If you have, that would be ideal. If you have UK-based Palace fans who are coming in with some money, willing to invest, that is the best of all worlds, if that is in fact true. I don't know if that's actually true.
Yeah, obviously the options in the poll aren't great.
No, I don't think they're great.
But it's what is out there at this moment in time.
Yeah.
We really want. I think it's got to stage. It's long gone the stage where we just need one single owner, just buy out the club. We are a London club. We should be attractive to someone. Surely.
I guarantee that we are, Rich. I guarantee that because there's so many things that are attractive about the assets of this club. You have the catchment area. We own the ground. We're building a new main stand. We have a bunch of years in the Premiership. It is run sustainably. Like somebody coming in, like if you were to go in, there are clubs in the Premiership that I'm only talking. So now I'm not talking about a fan. Now, if I was just talking in my job as an investor, right, and I was doing financial statement analysis, Palace would be one of the top 5 clubs, top 5 that you would look at. And the reason for it is because we are a sustainable club. We generate pre-tax earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. We're like a cash generating club. We're actually run responsibly. And the reason is because we have to be. Like other clubs don't have to run. They don't have to do the things that we have to do. Like part of the reason that I think we're kind of stuck right now is we've got like arguably about 50 million pounds worth of mistakes that might turn into permanent mistakes. Right now, they are mistakes because they're not producing. But França, that's 20 million, was going up to like 25 million. And then Eddie Nketiah. And we can't do that. Man United can do that. They can make 50 million, hundreds of millions of pounds worth of mistakes. We can't. We can't do that. So, yeah, we're a very attractive asset because we run things sustainably. We do a very good job of it. So the dark side of that, which is why you get this in every one of these chats, is this club doesn't invest, everything is cheap, which is all true. We do try to stretch every single pound that goes into the club because we have to do that in order to compete successfully in the Premiership. So all the criticism is 100% true. It's 100% fair, but it's also who we are. So if we're going to succeed, we have to be better, materially better than just about every other club in the division with every pound we put to work. And right now, I mean, our eyes do not deceive us. That ain't happening. So this leads to my question for you guys so that I don't go on a rant about this. I am trying to understand if we have the forward players to execute Glasner's system. Because last season, we had 2 10s running close together in close proximity to our striker. We had a triangle that was playing between each other just beautifully. It was such a joy to watch. We do not have that right now. Can we get that with the forward players we have?
I think
Balance. It sounds mad, but I mean, throughout Transfer Weekly, we were, I think, almost 90 to 95% of the inside 10s we were looking for were left-footed ones that we were discussing. And here's why. It sounds crazy that we have to rely on a specific footed player, but what Elise did well is that he was able to get close to Ebbs because he didn't necessarily have to hug the touchline.
Right.
He became a threat inside. The problem we have with Saar and Eddie, if they come inside, oh gosh, they're not good with their left foots.
Yeah.
You know, so they have to try and beat the man around the outside. Stacey's still smirking. Trying to have a serious chat. So that's why we needed the balance of a left footed. I'm gonna cry. And also it allowed, what do you call it, Munoz to get off the field.
Right.
Because Elise will take 2 players with him. He was that good.
Right.
You know? And that gave Munoz the freedom.
Gives some space on the overlap, right?
Ebbs will do the same on the other side. So with them playing so close together, it made our fullbacks a lot more useful.
A lot more productive, a lot more dangerous, for sure.
We both, I think we all agree, they're not the best crosses anyway, but it didn't look like they were bad crosses because we were very close to each other. So everything looked easier to do. With how we're set up now, we've got 2 right-footed 10s. First of all, trying to get onto the ball, which they can't seem to find space in, and then isolating Munoz, and they don't run with the ball. And I think that's the biggest key. We don't have players who run with the ball.
How many take-ons have there been? Like, other than Ebbs, is there anybody in this side who does just a straight take-on?
Let me find some stats for you for take-ons.
I couldn't find it.
Well, why are you doing that, Jace? Yeah, well, we said it, didn't we? That if you look at the 3 players we lost in the summer, I think Lacroix would be as good as Anderson, if not better. I don't think we'll ever have a hope of replacing Elise.
Yeah.
But pretty much, we didn't replace Ayew either, did we? I mean, and Ayew was the one that actually got you up the field, won loads of fouls, ran with the ball, got across it. And I know he got a lot of assists. He didn't weigh with many goals, but we're missing him big time.
I'll say about the Ayew one, though, Chairman. I think we did replace Ayew.
With who?
With Saar, who was meant to be on the bench. I think that's the issue here. Because had we got that left-sided 10, whether Marcus Edwards and Matteo Sule,
Yeah.
obviously he wanted to stay in Italy.
You mean left-footed? 10?
Antonio, yeah, Antonio Nusa. There's so many left-footed 10s. If we'd got one of them, so no one would complain about the fact that Saul was brought to replace Ayew. The issue is Saul was brought to replace Ayew, but has to start.
Yeah, in the right
No.
position. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So
I mean, and the other thing
I
about it
think we
is that
did replace Ayew. I think the issue is the main thing is we didn't replace Michael adequately.
we was never going to. I mean, to be fair, if we had £100 million to replace Michael, we still wouldn't have replaced him because he was that good. And to be fair, if he didn't have
the caliber player, sorry,
exactly,
Yeah,
and if he
you
didn't
can't
have the
replace
release
these.
clause, we would have got 80-90 million pound from him. No two ways
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, minimum.
Minimum, absolutely.
So this leads to another question, and then maybe JC, you've got stats here. I watched the replay or the highlights, for the Steel City Derby. Jess played 77 minutes. He's getting a lot of minutes for Sheffield United. If we recall him, he's got to get those kinds of, maybe not that many minutes, but he's got to get minutes. We cannot recall him and stall his development. And going into January, you cannot buy a young left-footed 10
Yep.
and just try to convince Jess, look, you can come back and fight for your place. You know what he'll say to that?
Yeah.
Say see you later. I'm done here.
We've royally screwed ourselves over, by the way.
Yeah.
Because in January we can't sign the left-sided 10 unless we're telling Jess don't come back.
Right. Exactly right. So
And it's a shame because Marcus Edwards is not playing football right now.
No,
And he'll be perfect.
He's only had 73 minutes all season, Edwards.
You really?
Perfect.
Only five appearances, 73 minutes total. So I found it out.
Was it 25 million euros, wasn't it?
It was, but it'll
You're
probably be
looking
less than that now because he's only got one and a half years left on his deal now.
I say we need to,
Be less.
and we have to make a ballsy move. I would still get Marcus Edwards in and have him and Jez as our two left-footed, right-sided 10s, and then we have Ebbs if he stays, and question mark. At least then we've got a squad, and just have a rotation.
I've just had a look, and when it comes to take-ons attempted in the Premier League, we are second bottom. we average 3 take-ons per game.
jeez.
That's so bad.
Jess
Can
averages
I
more
ask
than that
when-
per game.
3.1 if you want to be specific.
Can I
So
ask?
that's the reason, right? Like this would be my argument to bring him back. You've got to play him. And that's gonna piss Sarr off, but you know what? Too bad. I'm sorry, but that's too bad. But at least then, for the remainder of this season, if Jess is back and he's playing a minimum of 45 minutes, 60 minutes per match, you have 2 players in those narrow 10s that are both capable. Look, he ain't going to get it right all the time. He's going to turn the ball over a lot. But you have 2 players then that are going to take on opponents and try to get into the attacking area. And when it comes off, that will change our attack.
Can I come in and just
Go for it,
say
Alex.
this is sad for me to say, but we were missing both Eddies today. I don't want to say it, but at least they try to take on people. At least they try. They're not very good at it, just to let you know, but they're willing to try. I went there. I'm sorry. No, it's probably would have been just as bad with those Eddies, but I don't know. Like at the start of the year, like I knew that like Sarr and Kamada, that's just not what they do. Like if you look at the stats, they never take on people. So I was like, we must have some sort of a plan to like pass around it or something, and it's not working. It's bad. Sorry to take up. Hi guys.
No, you're good at. But you make a point, and I think this is pretty much one of the biggest factors why we can't play the way we played last season. We don't have runners. We don't have players taking on. And if you even want to take it back, you look at Saha, Balassi, etc. We were proud, a very proud team of having wingers who just take on their back each and every time. Like
That's like
relentlessly.
our identity. I felt like,
That's
yeah,
Palace. It is. You're right.
Yeah.
It is Palace, and we've not got that this year, and it's sad. It's sickening as well. So bring back Jez and get Marcus Edwards in as well. Just do it.
yeah. I'm just gonna like. All right, he's different than Nketiah. I give you that. But wasn't part of the issue that Nketiah wasn't getting game time. So how do we know if he's still got the ability to become a regular person? And I don't know, isn't Edwards like 26 now, 25, 26? I don't know.
Yeah, but he's with that. It's not square pegs round holes. And prior to this season, he was playing a lot of football. You know,
Yeah.
Obviously, seasons come, players go in and out of form. Managers find different players. Like you can't help it. You know.
Yeah.
But like I said, he may not even have a good GA, but he will run players, and that factor creates space for the rest of the team. You know, and I think that's what we're looking.
Well, and this is the other thing that's so frustrating about the Fulham match, and what feels. You tell me if you think this is different from end of last season under Glasner. We're trying somewhat more ambitious, and by ambitious I mean somewhat longer passes. We're trying one-touch passes, but slightly longer passes. We're getting them all wrong all over the place. It ain't just Kamada. We are passing into the opposition every single time.
So Tim, can I mention something about that?
Sure.
Because
Yep,
I said this on Back of the Nest, and I was like, I don't think that we're passing to try to get somebody. I think we're trying to press to bring our defenders up because we were getting pushed back. And that to me sounds like scared playing, and it's not what I want to see out of our team if that's what we're doing.
And it's a point because towards the back end of last season, especially with our centre backs, yes, I know we've lost Anderson, but even Mark, when he's playing up for back, he's not fizzing passes through the lines this season. The only one that's doing it is Mix. It's the only player in our team that's trying to fizz a pass in. We used to get that fizzed in, bang, right into midfield. We're turning and we're running forward, and we're not doing it.
Do you want me to tell you our top 6 dribblers this season?
Oh, can I guess what the second highest is? Is it Munoz?
Top 7 actually, because 7 is actually hilarious. By the way,
I bet I have one.
So top is
Munoz second.
Second is Chalobah.
Oh,
Gay's going to be in there, isn't he?
Then it's Mark.
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
Then it's Munoz. Then it's Lacroix. So all of our centre backs are confident on the ball.
Yep.
That's embarrassing.
Then here's where it gets really funny. This is where stats start to tell a different story.
Yeah.
Then it's Mitchell.
Oh man.
Because we think that he can't dribble, but then it's Mitchell, and then 7. Get ready for this.
It's Kamada.
Slap.
Worse. Dean Henderson.
Oh
wait, what?
Dean Henderson's had 1 dribble this season.
Wait, what? Oh my lord. Okay.
So what it is that Henderson's taken a touch and ran past someone. That's what counts as a successful take on.
Henderson.
And Ebbs will stop, right?
So
yeah.
Wow.
And how much has Ebbs done?
He has.
His efficiency is awful this year, but he tries a lot.
9 in 11. Well, I mean, he's not played the last 2, didn't he? So 9 in 9 games.
9 successful total.
No, that's only 9 attempted. Successful is 3.5.
Okay. So
9
about 1/3.
dribble, and this is our
This is
star
this is
player.
our £60 million player.
9
Yeah.
attempted dribbles in 9 games.
That's
No, I think it's
that's-
per game, isn't it? It has only
No.
9 dribbles in
no,
all
no.
of them.
No, he's not doing 9 dribbles per game. He's not having 9
chance.
take-ons.
Well,
per
I
game.
mean, like that does, but
Yeah.
9 the whole
Doing 9
season
takes
also
per
sounds
game.
ridiculous.
9 the
Everyone
whole
in the Premier
season.
League
That's
will talk
crazy.
about him.
Wow.
Yeah, but that
9
does
the
say a
whole
lot.
season
Like
is
we are not
shocking.
we're not trying to turn the opposition, run into space, get past somebody, and then deliver a pass to get like it would end of last season, like you said, Rich. It's 2 to 3
Yeah, that-
passes and we're in.
That's why people are so excited about
ain't
Asher,
happening
because
right
that's
Number
right
9
in
is
his
Agbonone,
wheelhouse.
by the way.
Oh, 9 is
Is it?
Agbonone. So
And
you
he's
know,
It's
got
that one take on against Forest.
yeah, that's what I figured. It's just less minutes. Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus.
funny enough, Agbonone has got a 50% take on success rate, so you know.
Hey, like, but this is, yeah, it would be. I hope if I wouldn't call this a positive from this match. I'm not searching for positives this match, but what I would say is I hope this convinces Glasner that he has an opportunity to do more with youth. I think you're bang on about this, guys, that I don't think, as much as I appreciate what Jeffrey Schlupp has done over the years, he shouldn't see
He's
another
done.
minute. He shouldn't
He's
see
done.
another minute. It should be that Agbonone is the default. If we need somebody to come on to change the match, somebody with pace. Yes, there's some risk there, but come on.
Yeah.
Like that's
I mean,
the guy.
Yeah. Can I say, like, you guys, I mean, it's pretty obvious with Schlepp that he has issues with, like, his weight and stuff like that. Like, I haven't been talking about it as much as you guys have, but I know it's there. And the Villa game, that was it. That was, like, when he's slower than their slowest, like, center back, what are you doing out there? Is what I felt like. It was really embarrassing. I felt bad.
I think one thing Schlupp used to do very well, not so much last couple of years, that when he got the ball and he used to drive, it was very hard to get
Yeah,
the
he
ball
did
out.
used to carry it. Yeah.
And he was very strong with it, isn't it? There's a few games where he scored goals like that, but
He turns well.
That's long gone. That's long gone.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Just before that, a few things. Firstly, just want to say welcome to Mary M. I believe this might be the first time you've commented, but if not, I apologize. And if it is, welcome. And you're spot on here, guys. We mentioned it earlier on. Look, we understand, we're all football fans. We can criticize performances.
Yeah.
Player performance, we can criticize that. What the racial abuse is disgusting. I hope they find whoever's involved, ban them for life. I'd say put their pictures around as well. Let us proper shame these idiots. You know,
It sounds like it's been
it's
happening
disgusting.
for weeks too, because I heard a few weeks ago, like on the Twitterverse, that people are saying like that, like because of his eyes he can't see, and it's just it's disgusting to me, and I hate that, and I just want to point out that like that some of these people are probably saying these things and then just trying to hide and be like, that's not me, I'm not racist, like, no, you are, and you just can't admit it.
Their faces around the stadium. Look,
that ain't
it
right.
needs to be a proper shaming situation.
That ain't right. That's not
It's disgusting.
that ain't the club that I support.
Right.
No way.
Absolutely.
No thanks.
And UK Pat saying, rumor has it Rich was playing this little Schlupp. I can play football, all right, you know. And that is a lovely segue. JC, what do we have scheduled for next week? Because obviously it's international break. I think we could all get our mental health back for a couple of weeks.
So,
yeah.
Next week on a Tuesday, we have got Tactical again. So if you guys haven't commented on the tweet, we are doing another Q&A. So if you want to have a question that you want answered, go back to that tweet. It's probably one of the latest ones on our Twitter. Go in there, reply to the tweet, and we'll most likely cover it. as long as it's something that we haven't covered in our last Q&A. Moving on to Thursday, we will then have a sort of a loan watch, let's say. So we'll be going in depth to all of our players that are out on loan, such as Jez,
Nice.
such as Ozo. So we'll be talking about those guys in a little
Nice.
bit more detail, because sort of we're trying to talk about it in the WSL thing, but they don't really get the time of day, and it's sort of quite a way through the season as well. So we can get a little bit more accurate. And then after all of that, most likely on Sunday, we will finally be releasing the Power League stuff. So we have played a game at Power League with a few quite well-known content creators. We've got quite a bit of footage, and we've got a neat little idea of how we want to upload it. So it won't just be match footage. We will try and add a little sprinkle of Eagle-Eyed Football along the top of that as well. And then also the week after that is game week again, so we'll just be back to
regular
programming.
Yeah, and tomorrow we'll be live tomorrow 7:30 for the WSL and Academy Lowdown. So we'll look back at today's game, a well-earned draw.
Played well today.
Yeah,
I was quite disappointed with the draw, but it's still a good point.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Like, I thought that we deserved more, but
we'll discuss that. We know the Academy had a couple games last week, including they played Peterborough in the cup, and there was defeat there. So we'll cover all of that in tomorrow's stream. Tim, Alex, thank you for. It's kind of like therapy session. So thank you. I feel a lot more calmer than I did before.
We can breathe.
And I think we've all come to the common conclusion: we need players that can run with the ball.
Yes.
Up the Palace.
Up the Palace.
guys.
Eagles.